it gets to a point where we all have to collectively say, Madam Joyce just might be a rage baiter. She might just be a professional rage baiter.
Yeah, I posted yesterday, you guys. I told you guys that video is still very new and that video is still up on Madam Joy's page. If you're new to this whole conversation, you can as well go check the last video before this particular one you're watching to get the full context, or let me just give you guys a little breakdown. So this Black British podcaster decided to get on a podcast to share her own thoughts, just like every other person else have been doing. She decided to share her own thoughts on the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime performance, and she said something along the line that she just wants to enjoy. She does not want to watch a performance and have to think or be schooled, and that she just couldn't get the deep fakeness that a lot of American people are attaching, especially Black Americans are attaching to that performance.
I come to watch the Super Bowl to watch a performance. I didn't come to think. I don't want to feel like I'm reading a book. There are a lot of people on the internet who are like, oh my God, you just didn't understand. One thing I cannot stand is fake deepness.
So that got a lot of people pissed, because if you have been following the conversation of Kendrick Lamar's performance, I'm sure by now you know things that people have pointed out about that performance, and is the top most watched halftime show in history right now. And if you have been following conversation between Black Americans and Black British people, you will know there's always a diaspora war thing going on. There's always a back and forth between these two groups. Now it led to a point where Black Americans are sharing their opinion about Madam Joy's video to a point where they are dragging Black British and just like kind of making it like a general thing. And Black British people as well are speaking up on what they think about Madam Joy's video. And to be honest, they are not on her side at all. I tell you guys that there's probably going to be a part 2. So without wasting much time, let's just get right into it.
So, okay, I've been seeing this video, I guess, about Madam Joyce. I'm not insulting her or any other stuff like that, but it's just kind of like crazy because like I've been seeing other people saying like anti-African stuff and everything like that. And like I'm African, but I was born here in America, so I'm American too. And my thing is like I don't agree with her sentiment at all, but I don't feel like it has to be like Africans versus Americans. But I think it's like showing like her lack of reference point and also ignorance, because a lot of people who are ignorant are giving opinions on things they have no clue about. And the fact that she was like, I don't want to think, I just want to enjoy, kind of shows somebody who's not a true artist or understands like what the purpose of art is. And so it's just like, kind of sometimes you just look at people and all you can do is smile and say, yeah.
Madam Joyce does not speak and does not represent the whole Black British population. Anybody that has a problem with that, my nose is flaring because I'm mad. And everybody, all these Black Americans commenting, get off. Delete the video. It's not needed. You are, again, misjudging the whole situation. She is not representing everyone. Do not put every Black British person on the same category as her. She did not understand all of it. Have some grace. Okay? And please don't get me started on ignorance, because you are not the person to speak.
It gets to a point where we all have to collectively say, Madam Joyce just might be a rage baiter. She might just be a professional rage baiter, because, in Britain, you've caused problems. In Nigeria, you've caused problems. Now in America, you want to cause problems. It even gets to a point that I was like, when do we say you are an Orobo, you are a glutton for problems? And I understand the clicks, I understand the views, but it's like when you write down your takes, do you ever think like, maybe this is actually out of my jurisdiction, maybe this is out of my qualifications? Because for you to say, when I watch the Super Bowl, I want a performance. How are you watching the Super Bowl? Well, I want your visa to be taken away. I want your visa to be burnt. We can't get what we want because it's unproductive. And things I like cocktails and take away. When you rap, like I like most of your points, but it's like this highly political time in America. You want to say you want a performance. The only thing the Black person have ever given us is Dave Santan. That's the only contribution. And you want to ask, you want to put in requests. Well, I want to request to the Black person every other 6 months. Don't say Americans don't know where they're from. It's 6 conversations behind. And it's fact that you're a Black Brit doing it too. It's like you never beat the stereotypes. You never beat the stereotypes. And you know what? Me, I'm happy the content my parents picked. I could have been like you guys. I could have been like, it's like the Black Brits, they want to battle for the most insufferable with the South Africans. What is the problem? Every continent, every hemisphere, you must disrupt, you must cause problems. You are a glutton. You just want to eat all the problems. Why? Like, it's gross, it's annoying at this point. In fact, thank you. You've motivated me. I need to start creating content too, because I too want to start rubbing my mouth, chewing gum for birds. Oh my God. Like, this is too much.
Madam Joyce, you have upset the people them again, okay? You've upset the people them once again. I just want to start by saying to all my fellow African Americans, we are not all like Madam Joyce, okay? We're not all like that, okay? A lot of us actually aren't like that, and I feel like it's just as ignorant to say on your end as an African American that we're all like that, because we're not. However, Madam Joyce, I understand. I don't even understand where you came from. I don't know where you were coming from with that. That I actually don't know. However, I think saying that you wanted entertainment and not a story, you actually have to understand what has just happened in America and the way that things are going for them right now. Okay, a lot is changing very quickly, and a lot of people are scared about the way that things are changing. Anytime a Black person has the power and the platform to speak, they have to be very wise with their time and what they are saying, like point blank period. I wouldn't think that she would say something like that, but she said it. I don't know why. I feel like she was just talking to talk in that moment. On the same hand, the Americans, calm down. Please calm down. Do like this, okay? Rub your chests, relax. And the reason why I said that is because sometimes I can see the vein popping up your neck. You're doing a lot. I understand what she said was wrong. And you guys are very heated, but I feel like sometimes the way that you think about us is a little bit wrong. A lot of us actually do still go through systematic oppression and a lot of problems as well. And the way that you guys are coming back and being combative to the whole nation of Black British people is crazy. We are not all the same. It's ignorant in that sense as well. And I heard a girl say this as well on TikTok, which I didn't really like. She said that American history is Black history, vice versa. Now it is, yes. However, we cannot take away the fact that America had its own history and it had its native people before anyone came on that place, okay? Native Americans have been there from way before. And I feel like sometimes it can come across a little bit ignorant if we say stuff like that. And they're going to be like, oh, why are you chiming in as a UK person, as a Black British person? Because at the end of the day, we done all been through the same thing, honey, okay? Let's just not sit here and lie. We've all been through it. Our families have all been through it. Of course, you guys have your own history. Yes, no one's taking that away from you. We don't want to take that away from you. That's you. That's your history. But at the same time, we're all Black, okay? We're meant to be supporting each other. And I just feel like it's getting weird. And Madam Joyce, Auntie Joyce, please, don't just talk to talk because you're upsetting the people again. Like, girl, what is going on? Who is your producer? Stop saying these things. You're actually hurting people's feelings.
All right. Admittedly, that Madam Joyce video sent me into a spiral at least on 3 different occasions because of a blind rage. With that said, I've been seeing a lot of weird political readings on everything post Super Bowl now because of that. So I kind of wanted to give you my thoughts raw. Biggest point I wanted to make is that I think many people seek the catharsis of a revolution through the entertainment they consume that they should actually be in search of through real community work. Hence the whole reason people say the revolutionary will not be televised. And look, I'm gonna keep it a bean. I haven't done much community work since I left home for college a couple years ago. But I'm truthfully not mad at Kendrick for doing just enough to spark the conversation, which you can see happening, while not completely nosediving his career for the sake of a statement. Because truthfully, many of those digi extremists that you're seeing wishing that he did wouldn't. And this speaks kind of to the larger frustration that I think is in Mr. Morale, which is the pressure society placed on him to be a revolutionary simply because of his talent and perspective. And damn sort of being like the sobering of his realization that To Pimp a Butterfly can't really change everything. A lot of these polarizing, extreme takes that you're seeing online are really just either poor artistic or political interpretation of what he's actually doing, and people projecting for the sake of their audiences that they're trying to attract on here. Because really, I think the reason Kendrick even said the revolution will be televised, along with all the other haikus, was a reference to the stance he's been having for almost a year now for authenticity in hip-hop, i.e. a Drake sneak diss. FD Signifier made a great video on this about that catharsis people seek. And you know, with that, since then, I've been seeing a weird yearning for almost a daddy figure that's been happening for years now, for a leader to come out the woodwork. Why don't we have any leaders? Why don't we see anyone prominent since, like, you know, the 80s, the crack era? Leaders happen naturally. You know, the reason so many leaders around that time reached cultural prominence and were actually physically doing things in the community is because people were outside doing the actual groundwork. It was considered a political duty within Black American communities to be somewhat involved in whatever needs to be done for your fellow neighbor. Because of that, it caused everyone to be much closer. And individualism within America and that whole philosophy doesn't allow for that to be a prominent thing, especially in majorly urban cities. I don't know if that was proper vocabulary, but this leader that you think is gonna come from your favorite movie or your favorite TV show or your favorite song is not a reality, you know? And many people were arguing that art isn't revolutionary and art isn't this and that. And you know, the truth is art is revolutionary and it can be, but art has to work in tandem with the people. And if the people are not on the same page with what an artist is yearning for and only moves within ebbs and flows, then whatever we deem as a possible revolution will only move within those ebbs and flows as well.
So that madam, whoever, like, I don't really remember her name, but the girl of African descent who gave that incredibly terrible take on the Super Bowl halftime performance, yeah, her podcast is produced by Shits and Gigs. I don't know if that would lead to any inclination of everything that you should expect, but yeah, let's really get into it. To sit there and say, I don't want to think, I just want to be entertained, shows a level of privilege that I cannot even fathom to begin to try to understand. That is the exact thing that Kendrick was talking about in this entire performance. The fact that we've become so numb to actually being critical, using our critical thinking brains, and we just want to be entertained. You live in a country that colonized almost the entirety of the Western world, and you're sitting there saying, yeah, I know that he wants to talk about this thing that happened to my ancestors, because make no mistake, they are also your ancestors. They're not just ancestors of the fucking Black people in America. To sit there and say that, yeah, I just don't want to have to go through a history lesson when I'm watching a football game. First of all, your country doesn't even have football. Let's start there. Secondly, your ancestors, because make no mistake, we're all of African fucking descent. Your ancestors were abused, raped, hanged, tortured, and he's trying to bring light to the fact that they're trying to take us back 180 fucking years, and you're sitting here saying, oh, I really wanted to get people, what did you want people to get on the stage and twerk and shake their ass? And you do not even understand the political climate of our country for you to even be able to comment or have any type of commentary on what's going on. And I'm sorry, you guys can forward me clips where she's talking about the political climate of our country and saying how whatever is bad, but I haven't seen any clips like that. All I saw was clips of her criticizing Kendrick Lamar's halftime performance, saying it's boring, saying it wasn't entertaining, saying she didn't want to have to think. I swear, some of you will go to a feast of intelligence and still choose to starve. Imagine us being here, fighting for our lives. These artists are putting up, they're actually harming themselves, right? To fight for us, to show the world that we are more than just what they say we are. These artists are actually using their artistry to influence for something good. And you who have influence decide to say something like this. I need a better word than ignorant for this. Final thoughts is, if you have nothing nice to say or nothing constructive to add to the conversation, how about you just fill your mouth with soggy toast and beans and shut the fuck up? And I know it seems like I'm just throwing shade at this particular individual. That is not it. This is for everybody who has had this take of, oh, it's supposed to be entertainment. It's not supposed to be this political stance. Every fucking thing is a political stance in this world, in this life. Your morals, your ethics, everything is differentiated based on how you choose to present to the world and the impact you choose to have on the world. So don't sit there and say like, oh, it's not supposed to be a political stance. I'm not supposed to think. I'm only supposed to be entertained, because that just shows your ignorance. Again, intelligence is a feast. Take bread off the table. Get a little slice of turkey. Do something. But you cannot have these horrible takes while also being produced. You know what? Y'all.
I don't want to watch a performance and then have to read a book to understand what the performance.
This was a howler. This was a howler, Joyce. This was a howler. And don't get me wrong, I fully get what you're trying to say. I fully get what she's trying to say, but the delivery was bad. So bad. Now listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. Everybody's allowed to like and dislike what they want to like and dislike, which is normal. The basic human decency is to do a little bit, not much, but a little bit of research. And that's about anything. But specifically about this topic, a bit of research should have been done, because when you say stuff like Uncle Tom, but it's really Uncle Sam, it makes you sound like what people say you sound like. And I don't want to say what people say you sound like, because I don't think you sound like that, and I don't think you are what people say you are. But the fact that you say stuff like that in the manner that you did makes you kind of sound like what people say you sound like. And again, people have their own opinions. You cannot like, or you can dislike rather, symbolism in songs and performances or videos. But when it comes to symbolism in Kendrick's performance, it's really basic stuff, if I'm really honest. I mean, every Tom, Dick and Harry understood that when Kendrick was stood in the middle on the stairs and the people performing, the dancers performing around him, were wearing blue or navy, red and white. I mean, everybody knows it's the American flag. Like, it's not rocket science. And then when she said that she wants to dance and she doesn't want to have to read a book afterwards, that's going to come across so bad. Not just in the African American community, but in the Black community in general, because essentially you're telling people that you're just there to be a sheep and just, be entertained, nothing else. Now, in terms of her saying she didn't know the songs, fair enough. Again, these things happen, but I still feel like it's a bit far-fetched. And this is not just aimed at her, this is aimed at a bit of everyone, because when in 2019, Big Boy, Travis Scott, and Maroon 5 performed at the Super Bowl, nobody can sit there and tell me you knew every single Maroon 5 song. Nobody can sit there and tell me you knew every single Big Boy song. Maybe Travis Scott, but Big Boy, I bet you many people, especially here in the UK, don't even know who Big Boy is, unless people tell them, oh, he's a half of Outkast. Oh yeah, Outkast. Oh yeah, now you know Big Boy. But do you know his individual songs? You probably don't. So again, this is just a reaction to what she said, and we've got to be mindful of how we speak about certain things, especially when it comes to African American culture, which is a culture that we're guests of, if we're really being honest. We're guests of that culture. We don't know much about that culture. We only see what we read in books, what we see on TV, and what's being explained in documentaries and movies, really and truly. The same way Americans are guests to UK grime culture. Not many Americans know about UK grime unless they're being told, unless they watch documentaries, videos, interviews, they read books. So, we just have to be mindful with some of the delivery sometimes, because you can't really blame people for getting onto her now. You really can't.
What do you guys think about what these people are saying? Black British people as well, they are crashing out saying this lady does not represent us. Please do not put all of us together. We are not even standing with her on this particular one. And you guys know recently she was viral as well when she went to Nigeria for 30 December, where she was saying like maybe some Nigerian girls, or they are like intimidated by UK babes and all of that. So that is already on social media. That is not even yet done. The traces are still online, and then this came up again. So it seems like our people are even tired of defending her at this point. But the fact that you could get on a podcast with followers of over 1 million saying these people are faking the deepness, when in reality, this is their reality. This is the reality they live. This is the reality they are still living. This is the reality of things that might still happen. It is their reality, and we should be able to understand how sensitive some certain things might be for some certain people, especially if we all are blacks. Like, we should be able to understand what these people are going through and where they are coming from. I think this is the pain of so many Black Americans reacting to our video saying, how could you even call that a deep fakeness? This person said, I don't think it is supposed to be Africans versus Black Americans either. But you need to understand, we are not going to let people disrespect us and that go for anybody. And to be honest, it's true. Whenever conversation comes up and it's from the other part, it will get to a point where it's now Black Americans versus Black British people. In fact, it is like something that happens almost every month at a point. Like, there's always this diaspora war thing going on. If it's not Africans versus Black Americans, it is Africans versus Black British people. Like, it's literally insane. This person said, the problem with this situation is there's a lot of Africans trying to tell Black Americans to calm down. And that is a problem, especially after disrespecting something that has to do with our culture. And this is the reason why I said we should be able to recognize when a particular thing is sensitive and know how to move around it. I particularly have seen his performance and the reaction to his performance as a learning curve. Like, people have literally been explaining, and since it is Black History Month, it's literally a very good one. This person said, same, how posting that video was like adding more gas to a fire. Black Americans already have this narrative that we think we are better than them, when that is not the case. Second-hand embarrassment, because I see takes of people saying, oh, she's doing it for the views, she's doing it for the grabs, like, you already know she's a podcaster and all of that. And I think I saw a follow-up video or follow-up post of her where she's saying, oh, she's enjoying the drama, you all can keep it coming. And I confirm that more drama are still going to come our way with that post. This other person said, Madam Joyce is truly an ignorant troublemaker, and I'm starting to see why the Lagos girls didn't pay her any mind or attention. She is an agent of chaos. This person is just breaking it down. This person said, we have to also understand that she is signed to James and Fuad. If I'm not mistaken, like, she works on their podcast studio, birds of a feather flock together. And if you don't know, Fuad and James podcast, Shit and Gigs, they've been like on the bad book of Black Americans as well. They've said some certain things on the podcast with another creator, white creator, literally talking down on Black women. I think we covered that few months ago, if you guys can still remember. The last one I have here said, and she further states, shouldn't have to read a book to understand. Like, this person is literally putting it in asterisks. Like, she said she does not want to watch a performance whereby she has to carry a book to understand. And I feel like even that alone, it should be an embarrassment for her. Like, you can as well just sit back as somebody who is like, your face is out there, people know you. You can as well just do a little research. Like, just the Uncle Sam that she's calling Uncle Tom, like, that literally just, like, no. You don't even know what you're talking about, and you're here on your podcast confidently saying you cannot grab fake deepness. It's even differentiate Uncle Sam and Tom that you mentioned in your video. Lots of them believe that there is no research done. She just said it for the sake of saying its sake, and people are believing that she's doing it for the views and just to get attention. Let me hear what you guys think about this whole conversation. It's been pretty interesting the way this thing is going. It's been like, I feel like this is Kendrick's week. This is Kendrick Lamar's week, and it's actually worth it. Statistics I saw was it's on around 133.5 billion views or something. Let me hear what you guys think about this whole Kendrick Lamar's performance. I don't think this conversation is ending anytime soon, because yeah, I'm still seeing people talking about how there was no white performance on it and we are screaming about DEI. That is going to be another video entirely. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.